Welcome to the Lee Etzler Show, a weekly wrap-up and analysis of Churubusco High School Football.
Eagles, what is your profession?
And now your host, Big Daddy Don Hyatt.
Hi, I'm Don Hyatt, and welcome back to Week 5 of the Lee Etzler Show. This week we'll be talking to the coach about the Eagles' domination over the Angola Hornets in this Friday's game against the always dangerous West Noble Chargers. We also have a special guest, defensive coordinator Zach Dock. So stick around, we'll be right back after this.
Hey football fans, do you want to keep track of Churubusco High School football games? Log on to busconews.com every game day and watch up-to-the-minute pregame, halftime, and postgame interviews with head coach Lee Etzler. Stay connected with your computer or on your cell phone. busconews.com. When you can't make it to the game, it's the next best thing to being there. The Lee Etzler Show is brought to you by busconews.com and the Churubusco News.
Welcome back. We're talking to Coach about the 34-7 victory over the Angola Hornets. Lee, congratulations on a big win for your kids. It's pretty exciting to be 5-0.
So far, so good. 5 tests so far this season, passed each one of them. With last week's game, you kind of get the feeling that some people around want to crown us with some sort of championship for playing a good game on Friday, and we're not ready to accept anything like that. But good game, and like said a lot Friday night, if we're not improving from here on out, then we're going to be pretty disappointed.
Kyle Mathewson, he had a stellar game rushing again, 28 carries, 219 yards. But Kyle Monk also had 3 touchdown passes, and 2 of them to Jess Percy, which like his first 2 of the year.
Yeah, it's first of all, Mathewson, and this kind of goes our whole team. Some of the things we wanted answered going into the game were, can we play 4 quarters of football? We haven't had to do that the first 4 weeks, and we did a pretty good job of that last Friday night. We had kids. Mathewson did not. We weren't able to get him off the field very much. Monk never. There wasn't one play on offense or defense. He was off the field, so he was out there full time. And could we compete for 48 minutes with where every play means something? And we did a pretty good job of doing that. Mathewson, it was a different type of game for him, which we thought it would be. He had to work harder for his yards, and first 4 weeks, he would have whatever it was, 6 to 10 carries at the end of the game, which. After you get up by so many points, you got to do some other things. But we knew it was going to be a heavy load for him, and he did a pretty good job with it. Ran hard, got the tough yards, which is what we wanted to see out of it. Monk did an outstanding job playing full time on both sides of the ball. Had a couple interceptions on defense and made quite a few good decisions for us on offense. So. Everybody knows he's an important part of both sides of the ball and to our team. Jess Percy, we got him involved throwing the ball a little bit. We're still working on some things to get him along on the offensive side of the ball, but showing the threat. I've said this many times, and we only threw the ball 8 times and completed 4, but having the threat of what we've shown so far this year, throwing the ball, gives defenses that are preparing for us something else to think about. So, which is good, but it was good that, we needed those 3 touchdown passes as well. So it was an overall pretty good effort for us.
As far as blocking, I mean, your offensive line was undersized to the bigger kids from Angola. They pushed them right out of the way and made some huge holes for Mathewson.
Yeah, you're talking to a coach now that has just watched the film and evaluated that, and there's some things that we're not happy with. you know, some of the things that we emphasized we didn't see enough of in that game. The good thing about it is, just like we said, we haven't had to play 4 quarters of football, and those kids played hard for 4 quarters of football. And you know, we've never been blessed with a whole lot of size here at Churubusco, and you know, to us that's not a big deal. Our kids, you know, seem to step up to the challenge regardless of you know, what the other team looks like. So they played hard. We're still working on some things, but overall, pretty good effort.
Stay with us. We'll be right back, where we'll be joined by defensive coordinator Zach Dock. You don't want to miss this.
Hey, football fans, do you want to keep track of Churubusco High School football games? Log on to busconews.com every game day and watch up-to-the-minute pregame, halftime, and postgame interviews with head coach Lee Etzler. Stay connected with your computer or on your cell phone. busconews.com. When you can't make it to the game, it's the next best thing to being there. The Lee Etzler Show is brought to you by busconews.com and the Churubusco News.
Welcome back. We're here talking with Coach Lee Etzler and also defensive coordinator Zach Dock. Dock is a huge reason why the Eagles are sitting atop the NECC and playing great defense this year. Lee, Coach Dock's been here 5 years now, and defenses seem to vastly improve since he's been on board.
There's no question. You know, the thing about defense and you know, you got to be focused and execute your assignments and all that good stuff that any defensive coach understands. But there's a lot about defense that is enthusiasm based. Coach Dock brings a ton of enthusiasm not only to our defense but our football team, and holds the kids, also probably one of the most important things, holds our kids to a pretty high standard. You know, also runs our weight room during the school day, and you know, one thing and is also our track coach, and you know, hugely different from years past. Our kids are getting better all year round, whereas in the past, you know, that wouldn't always happen. So, you know, does a great job on the football field, but we're pretty confident that our kids are getting better all year round and being held to a high standard. And as much as anything else, that is the reason for the success we've had recently.
Coach, we're happy you can join us this week.
Well, thanks a lot, Don, for having me on. Appreciate it.
Last week you shut down the Angola team that they passed for 356 yards, and you held them down to 86 passing and 152 total yards.
Yeah, we you know, our kids, you know, bought into our scheme and really did a good job watching film, knowing their checks, knowing the scouting report, and knowing what they try to do and where they're at on the field. And our kids did a good job with that, and we've had success stopping spread teams. Our spread packages, I think, pretty solid, and our kids seem to play well against spread teams, so it's been pretty fun in that regard.
You had a lot of pressure from your defensive end. I know Forker was back there all night long in that guy's in Bauer's face. It was fun to watch the defense out there.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we will bring pressure. It's kind of a known fact. We're going to bring our outside linebackers pretty much on every down against spread teams, and we're going to be relentless with it. And you can either cover them for 3 or 4 seconds, or you can flush them out of the pocket and cover them for 1 or 2 seconds, and that's kind of what we hope to do. We don't want them to get a clean look at the secondary for very long, so we're trying to bring pressure from different areas. But one thing we're definitely going to do is we're going to come off the edge with a good athlete at will linebacker, and Jeremy did a great job and has done a great job for us all year, and he got after the quarterback several times and just played real well. We're real pleased with the way he's been playing this season.
Spencer Conrad's hit on the Angola sideline. He nailed that kid. I mean, kids run out, and Conrad runs right out there.
Yeah, Spencer's been getting better every week, and he plays with a pretty high motor. Sometimes I get on his case about his technique up front, but he pursues the ball well and runs down the line of scrimmage and is not afraid of contact. And you know, it's good to have kids like that on your team that is not afraid of contact, will hit anybody at any time. So you know, that definitely a big hit, and momentum was definitely on our side when we're out hitting them at that point. A couple drives there in the third, and it was a lot of fun.
Then to finish it off on defense, you had Kyle Mathewson adding to his school record of interceptions again. He had 2 more this week.
Yes, sir. He, you know, Kyle's a special player. He kind of took the defensive game plan and you know, called me on Sunday night and, hey, Coach, we watched film Monday morning. Yeah, come on in. And he has pretty much everything down by Tuesday. You know, he knows everything what's going to happen, and he watches a ton of film throughout the week, and he executes on Friday. And he, you know, he's had a great career, and he was a huge reason why we were able to do the things we were able to do on Friday, was because we could move him around, put him in different positions. To be honest, teams don't want to throw at him. They don't want to throw slants at him. They don't want to run to the side of the ball, and that helps our defense out quite a bit.
We want to thank Coach Doc for stopping in and talking with us today about Busco's great D. Stick around, we'll be right back and talk with Coach about the game this Friday against the West Noble Chargers.
Hey football fans, do you want to keep track of Churubusco High School football games? Log on to busconews.com every game day and watch up-to-the-minute pregame, halftime, and postgame interviews with head coach Lee Etzler. Stay connected with your computer or on your cell phone. busconews.com. When you can't make it to the game, it's the next best thing to being there. The Lee Etzler Show is brought to you by busconews.com and the Churubusco News.
Lee, let's talk about the game Friday night against much improved West Noble Chargers. 2 weeks ago they knocked off Fairfield. Last week they came back against Lakeland and got beat towards the end, 28-21.
They're an extremely dangerous team. You know, I think people have the tendency to, you know, maybe compare scores in the newspaper and, well, this team can beat that team because this score was this and that sort of thing. You know, football doesn't exactly weigh. West Noble's a team that causes problems for us every year. You know, they're especially concerning this year because, you know, there's kind of a renewed enthusiasm with their program, probably different than the last couple of years. You know, the last couple of years they've been extremely young, and they're a little bit older now, probably dominated by their junior class, who's very talented. Knocked off Fairfield a couple of weeks ago. You know, Fairfield hadn't lost too many games in the regular season for the last quite a few years. So that was a big win for them, and very eye-opening for the conference. Last week played Lakeland, and I'm sure West Noble thought they should have came away with the win, but they are playing a very enthusiastic brand of football this year.
We want to thank Coach Etzler for taking time to talk with us every week. And I want to remind you to watch the Lee Etzler Show every Thursday night, 7:30, right here on busconews.com. I'm Don Hyatt. We'll see you next week.
This has been the Lee Etzler Show, brought to you every Thursday night at 7:30 by busconews.com.